Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. So in this video, we are looking at just simple support and resistance. And I always see y'all learning from my mistakes, some of the things that I had to learn the hard way. But first, y'all, let me give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. If you could please like, share, comment, subscribe, y'all, because we learn and we grow together. With that being said, let's get started. So again, we are looking at just simple support and resistance areas and some of the mistakes that I have made in my trading journey. Let me say that, right? So we are looking at NQ or E-mini, and I always like to look at my 30-minute chart, y'all. I always say, because it tells a story that I just like to read. I can understand, right? So, and that's what's so challenging about trading, is trying to figure out what strategy, what works best for you, taking this, applying this, adding this, subtracting this. It all goes into a plan that works for you. I can't say that enough, right? So again, we're looking at E-mini, the NASDAQ 100, right? So for teaching purposes only, right? Now, we are trading sideways. This is our support area here. Support is what holds us up. Resistance is what breaks us through. I can say that to explain that, right? I needed to explain that. So what's interesting, and one of the things that I used to make as a mistake, is sometimes we think that just because it's gathering in this area here, finding support in this area, that it's automatically going to go back to the upside. And that's not always the case, considering that this is our support area and this is an area that we are having trouble. We came back to having trouble. We needed to know that prior to getting into the trade. Let's back up. Here we have been trading in this area here. Price was coming down to this area and moved no higher than this area here. So I'm gonna see if I can make that a little bit bigger. So considering that we had this issue on this side a previous day coming to the current day, it could possibly still have trouble in that area, and that's exactly what we did, right? So this was one day, this is another day. So price has been trading in this zone as our support and our resistance. So I would not have entered into this trade even on a smaller time frame. Why? Because I would have came to my higher time frame to look at this story that it's telling me, right? We're trading sideways. We're really trading in a zone, or a gathering spot, as I like to say, right? Now, if by chance, we broke to the upside, I would need it to clear an area over here and make a new high, because if it does not clear and make a new high, we could very well get stopped out, and that will be still considered my rejection area or my resistance area. And that's one of the things, again, people, sometimes we think that because it's gathering this area, we came down and found support and moved back up, but we still did not make a new high. So that's something that I had to learn and pay very close attention to. And I'm so grateful that I did have a mentor that, he taught me. He said it never made a new high. And I'm like, okay, I'm seeing that now. So being that it didn't, we got rejected. Price tried to come until, I always say, like in football or something, it's one of those fake moves, right? It made you think that it was going to go up higher, which it did not. It only came back down to where the body of the candles are still within my zone that I had marked as a support area and a resistance area. So I'm still under the area that I considered a resistance area. Now, coming beyond this area here, we came back to an area that we were before. If you look at the body of this candle, 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 this line, I'm going to try to see if I can make that, tells me that we are still trading in a zone pretty much. This is my support area, this is my resistance area. We are not moving higher from that area. And that's so important that you know where your possible trouble places. And they always say, when in doubt, zoom to the left. That means you can go back to smaller time frames, or go back to daily charts is what I like to use. I'll go back to my daily chart and I'll mark those levels if I don't already have them marked. Where was price gathered together? Where was price gathered? Where did price stop? What stopped it at that area? Those are things that I ask myself when I'm charting. Why did price stop at that place? Because there's a strong possibility that we're coming back to that place again, right? So Again, not jumping into the trade based on, because it looks like, it's been trading sideways, it looked like it's going to go back to the upside from here. That's not always the case, and this is a proven example of that. You wait until it gives you a signal as to which direction it wants to move. So again, we're moving sideways here. This is my support area. This is a support area. This has been a support area for me before. This has been somewhere around a support area for me. So because of that, I cannot enter the trade until the downside, until we break past this level here. So we were at this area here as a support place. However, price stopped at this area also. So I cannot enter my trade to the downside until it gives me other confirmations as to, yeah, it's okay to enter to the downside. One, we've been here. Two, we've been here. And a few times over here, we've been at this place. So clearing this back to the downside, as you can see, price came down. It bounced off of a support, which was my ATR trailing stop. So the move was to make you think that it was going to continue down. And it did, but you needed to make sure that you had confirmation of that. Let me say that, right? So price came down, but there were some buyers right here to give us this wick to take us back to the upside. So we actually bounced off of support. So I definitely need to be careful, because I know I try to buy off support and sell at resistance, right? So I need to be careful. At this point, I will be at a smaller time frame to see what the smaller sections are telling me, because looking at this 30-minute chart, I don't think I would have entered, back to the upside. Why? Because something stopped me. I'm going to show you on this 30-minute candle. Something stopped me at this candle right here. I need to clear that off. Let me see if I can move it. And I always try to go back to say what stopped me in this area. And it came down, bounced off of a support area, only to go back up. So the ATR trailing stop at that time was my support. It came down, bounced off of that, only to go back to this level where everybody was. There's one, somewhere around it in here, and I'm pretty sure if I go to a different, time frame, I could see that we must have had something stop. There's buyers here, everybody was gathering in this place or something, but the wick came here, body came here. That is important to me because we were here before, right? So now I see that there's a few lines here, this level and this level. So in order for it to show me that it really wants to go back to the upside, it will need to clear all of this so I can have some type of confirmation outside of this wick right here to let me know that it's okay to enter my trade back to the upside. So we have to be careful with that, not to enter, not to get in so quickly. And I say that so often, y'all. There's been times that, we just jump in it based on what we're seeing, but we don't have confirmation. We don't have other things to confirm that it's okay to enter the trade. So make sure you have confirmation as to why you're entering your trade. And that's one of the things that, I had to learn. Why are you in this trade? There's been times that looking back, I'm like, why are you in this trade? And I cannot give a reason as to why, then I should not be in the trade. That is a valuable nugget. Let me say that. If you cannot give a reason as to why you're entering this trade, you should not be in the trade. So again, it bounced here off of the support area. It gave that little fake move, kind of like that little small one up here. It gave us that fake indication that it was probably going to continue declining. Well, some people could have very well jumped in it back to the upside. Well, as you can see, I already knew this gray shaded area here. I knew that we were going to could possibly have trouble going back to the upside, so I could not get back in it. So what was interesting for me here, I'm going to see if I can make that a little bit bigger for us, is, well, that was a little bit too big, but hey, we'll fix it, right? So what was interesting to me is this ATR trailing stop, that the pink dotted lines here that it was forming. That's a signal of, to me, strong resistance, strong support, in my opinion. Let me say that. So we got rejected at an area that was a strong resistance area, in my opinion. So I could have looked at a smaller time frame, and I'm going to go to the 5-minute chart just to see where we are at. So yes, so it looks as if it got rejected off of the 20 EMA right here, and another level. It probably, the 5 EMA could have been there. Either way, it showed me on a smaller time frame that we have gotten rejected. So we are getting rejected based on, price tried to go up, but that is a rejection area. So I would have entered this trade once it broke past this level right here, and I'm going to mark that. Why? Because it is no longer holding us up, right? So that is our support area. our resistance area as of now for me would be right here where price is gathered on this line right here. So I again look at small support and resistance on a much smaller scale. Why? Because I want to kind of know where my possible trouble places are, and right now this is my support, this is my resistance. Price tried to go up, it got rejected and came back down to this area right here. So I will not enter my trade until it makes a new low. Just like it made a new high, it would need to make a new high here for me to enter to the upside. In this case, it would need to make a new low before I enter to the downside. And as you can see, we broke out of the area, broke beyond, we lost our support right here, only to come. I knew that this area could be another support place, which is so close, right? It is so close in this area right here. So I need to be careful right here, because I could have gotten in here and I could have come down right to this level, found support, and moved back up to the upside. So if by chance we would have broken out under this, normally I would set an alert kind of under this area to let me know that we have broken through one area, two areas of support, and still slightly under that. That's where I would have tried to make my entry once it made the new low and confirmed that we were going to the downside. So that's something that, y'all, I had to learn the hard way, and I really hope I'm explaining it the right way, because it could get overwhelming if you're not careful. But that's why for me, again, I am a visual learner. It's easier for me to break it down on a smaller range, smaller scale, because if I try to do it overall, it'll kind of get overwhelming. Let me say that. So this is our 5-minute chart, right? So I'm going to go back to the 30-minute really quick just to see the time of that candle. So it looks as if it was 7 and 7:30. So I need to see where we are at 7 o'clock, which is okay, somewhere in this area here. Let's see. Yes, this would have been where we were, somewhere around this area here, where we broke out, got rejected, came down, looks like it wanted to come back up again, only to get rejected. We broke through a level of support, which is here. This is where I would have tried to enter my trade. I said that on the 30-minute chart. This is now the 5-minute chart. So if it would have came down to this area, now as you can see on the 5-minute chart is normally where I make my entries. I get confirmation to enter. Let me say that, because sometimes it depends on how I'm trading, and that's very important. How I'm trading. If I'm going in for a scalp, I'll look at the 2-minute chart and jump in based on what I'm seeing on the 2-minute. My plan is only to stay in for a few minutes, right? Go in, get it, get in, get out. So again, looking at this, confirmation for me is we have broken through a level of support, which would have been here. We have come down here. I need to be careful, but my MACD would have helped me in this case to it's okay to enter this trade. You see how close the lines are here? Well, I got a separation here. We've got some issues. So now I'm making lower lows. I like to see that. We've broken through a level of support, which was holding me up. I've broken through that level, and my MACD is separating. So I have at least 3 things that's telling me it's okay to enter this trade. And I don't have my MACD on my 30-minute chart as of now. Sometimes I add it, sometimes I take it off, but my 30-minute chart kind of like gives me a different view, and it's better for my vision, for my eyes. So normally I have my MACD on my 2-minute and my 5-minute. That just works for me. Let me say that. So again, trading is trying to figure out what works best for you. So y'all, I hope that I don't like to make long videos, because sometimes you have to go back and process the things that I hope that you're able to learn, but identifying your support and your resistance is very, very important. And charting, learning how to chart, and going back to figure out where your trouble places are. I say that often. Where am I going to have trouble, or where can I possibly have trouble? So that's why we have so many different lines on my charts, because I know it has been a trouble place before, and there's a strong possibility that it's going to come back to that area again. So as of right now, this is the 5-minute chart. We are finding support at this level right here of 2020. 786.43. That is our support area for the NQ or NASDAQ as of now. So on this 30-minute chart should tell me the exact same thing, right? So I'm going to go back. As you can see, this is our support area. Now, should we break back beyond this area, one, I would need to see it under this level, and again under this level to show me that we are declining back to the downside, because this could be a support area to take us back to possibly have trouble here, possibly have trouble here, or possibly have trouble here. Now to the downside, I could possibly have trouble here, possibly have trouble here, or possibly have trouble here. And you want to identify, or I want to identify, where I could possibly have trouble, so that if I'm in the trade, it helps me to make my decision to get out of the trade, or when to get in or when to get out. It helps me. Let me say that. So y'all, again, I hope these videos are very, very helpful in learning how to chart, making sure you identify your support and your resistance. That's very, very important. Knowing when to get in the trade, knowing when to get out of the trade, making sure that you have confirmation as to why you are even in the trade, or having a reason to get in the trade. And I say so often, y'all, once it goes against your why, get out, live to trade another day. This is definitely one of those examples of we're trading sideways. So, you know, we're trading in a zone as of right now. It needs to confirm, make a new high, make a new low, give me some kind of signal, MACD crossing, lower lows. I need to see, so, you know, I need to see something that confirms it's okay to enter this trade. So again, y'all, I am super, super excited. I enjoyed just looking over the charts and trying to figure out things with charting. So I do hope that everyone have a very profitable day, a very, very productive day. And I hope that you can learn from some of my mistakes. And I try to explain it in the way, you know, this is how I see it. And I say so often, there's so many different ways to trade the market. And what's challenging is trying to figure out what strategy works best for you, and then having the discipline to execute that yet. So I hope, again, that everyone have a very productive day. Again, if you could please like, share, comment, subscribe, y'all, because we learn and we grow together. With that being said, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others.